Hello, friends. The canoe gently rocks on the Ebro River, but today it dreams of ocean waves and clashing triremes. The calm waters we float upon cannot imagine the chaos to come, because the First Punic War has begun and the Mediterranean is about to become a liquid battlefield. Rome, the landlocked landlubber, has declared war on Carthage, the undisputed queen of the sea. Let that sink in. It's 264 BCE. Rome's army is top-notch, but their navy? Let's just say their biggest aquatic achievement so far was not falling into the Tiber. Meanwhile, Carthage boasts a navy so massive, their sailors probably tie knots in their sleep and communicate in dolphin clicks. So how does Rome respond? By doing what Romans do best, obsessing until they win. Legend says they captured a Carthaginian quinquereme that washed ashore. Most folks would have returned it or made it into a tourist attraction. Not Rome. They copied it plank by plank, turned it into a blueprint, and churned out a fleet like it was fast food. Now picture this. Thousands of farmers suddenly shoved onto ships, wobbling like newborn goats, trying to remember which side was port and which was starboard. Carthage laughed. Hard. But then came the corvus. Now this was no gentle seabird. Corvus means raven, but this mechanical marvel was basically a giant gangplank with a spiky beak. When Rome couldn't beat Carthage at sea battles, they said, fine, let's turn sea battles into land battles. So they invented a way to board enemy ships and fight as if they were still on solid ground. Clever? Very. Wobbly? Also yes. With the corvus swinging like a drunken bridge between ships, Rome started racking up naval wins. Carthaginian sailors, used to darting and ramming, now found themselves brawling with legionaries who fought like angry blacksmiths. The seas, once Carthage's playground, became a chessboard Rome was learning to dominate. There were titanic clashes, Mylae, Ecnomus, Drepana, battles where the ocean turned red and fleets were swallowed whole. At one point, Rome even lost an entire fleet to a storm. And what did they do? Built another one. Carthage began to realize, these Romans don't quit. But while ships clashed and sank like dominoes, the real prize remained untouched: Sicily. The war at sea was just the start. Rome and Carthage both knew that whoever controlled Sicily controlled the central Mediterranean. The First Punic War dragged on for 23 years, a record at the time. Carthage hired mercenaries, including battle-hardened veterans from across Africa and Iberia. Rome relied on its citizens, who kept volunteering even after seasickness, and sunk ships became regular occurrences. It wasn't just a war of might, it was a war of will. By the end of it, Rome had built and lost more fleets than most cities could dream of. But they'd also achieved the unthinkable. They beat Carthage at sea. When the final treaty was signed in 241 BCE, Carthage had to pay a huge indemnity and hand over Sicily. Rome, once a landlocked republic, now held its first province beyond the Italian mainland. And the corvus retired. Turns out it made ships a little too top-heavy. Still, it had done its job. The raven had flown, and Rome had found its sea legs. But our canoe is not staying on the waves. No, we're heading back to land, to the blood-soaked fields and besieged cities of Sicily itself. In the next episode, Storming Sicily, the battle for the island. Where war moves inland, sieges test stomachs and patience, and Agrigentum becomes the first real test of Roman tenacity. Grab your sandals and shields, we're going island hopping.